Hi everyone, Caroline here. Sometimes the timing is just not right. The time to start doing something is just not right, and it is what it is. And I want to talk about this because I've noticed that there's usually this tendency to really try to force things to happen just because everyone is doing certain things at a specific time. Even when you don't feel energetically ready to do something, sometimes because of the pressure or because of the way the society is set, there's usually this tendency to try to force things to happen just because it's the new year, or just because it's January, or just because things are supposed to be happening at a specific time according to society. And I'm personally finding out that these types of things don't work for me. So I wonder if it works for you. Are you one of the people who usually just do things because the year has begun, now you gotta do this or you gotta do that? Or are you the type of person who goes with the natural rhythms of life or the natural flows of your energy? Which is really what I want to talk about today. So let me know in the comment section, okay? And honestly, I'm not saying that it's bad to do things or to plan things when everyone else is doing things or when everyone else is supposed to do certain things, because people gotta do what they gotta do, right? So I'm not saying that at all, because the timing of the world sometimes demands that things have to be done when they need to be done, right? But it's usually interesting because many people are like, oh, it's the new year, so now I gotta lose weight, or it's the new year, now I gotta look for a new job, or it's the new year, now I gotta start doing this, or I need to start doing that, I need to start my business, I need to sell that, I need to push that, I need to enroll in this or that. There's that tendency to kind of use the Gregorian calendar to time things out or to organize life. And that's fine because that's life on one level of existence. But there's another level that I want to focus on in this video, and that is the natural cycles of nature, the rhythm of Mother Earth, the seasons of nature, and using those cycles for guidance and timing in our lives of when to start doing things and to stop doing things, when to take a break, when to pause, when to take action, and all that good stuff. And these days, I'm personally loving this experience of being in tune with nature. I've always loved working with the energy of the moon, working with the waxing cycles of the moon and the waning cycles of the moon to start and end things. And now just to incorporate the whole idea of staying in rhythm with the cycles of nature, the seasons of nature, and using Mother Nature's seasons to guide me in my process of change is just something that I'm finding to be so expanding and so relaxing, and it's making life so much easier for me. And as Mother Nature's children, we can feel these things in our bodies. We can feel resistance. We can feel the flow. We can feel the forward motion. We can feel when it's time to stop. We can feel when it's time to move. You know what I mean? So it's not something that's really peculiar. It's just something that's innate within each of us. And I think it's a good thing that maybe some of us might want to try these things if you're seeing that whatever it is that we are doing is not producing the results that we want. So for me, I've noticed that the springtime and summertime are the best times for me to start things, and the fall and the winter are the best times for me to conclude matters or to stop things or to really rest. And this noticing has really not been a surprise to me, because I realized that every time when it comes to the winter season or the cold season in the northern hemisphere, which is in the fall season or any time starting October all the way through to January, I notice that my personal energy tends to really, really diminish. And even if I want to do things, it's just usually a struggle to start to do new things. I really never want to start doing things or to do things, or I really have to force myself to do things. And maybe it's also because the cold season is not good for my energy. I'm just not a cold type of girl. You know what I mean? I like it hot and warm and sizzling. You know what I mean? But anyway, sometimes during those seasons, I see a lot of people putting a lot of emphasis on doing things and go, go, go. We got to start doing this because the new year is coming around, or because this has to happen, or because it's the Christmas season or whatnot. But my energy is never in tune with that kind of forward motion at that time. I feel like I need to wind down and close down the chapter and hibernate. It's winter time. You know what I mean? So the fall and the winter season never really work out for me. And I've also noticed that the things that I start doing within that time frame, for whatever reason, they never really produce fruit, or they are very short-lived, whether they're relationships or jobs. Somehow the relationship ends very, very quickly, or it just turns out to be nothing, or the jobs that I start have a very limited time span. And this is just an observation that I've looked, because I like to take an inventory of my life and what's been happening and things like that. Those kinds of things or noticings interest me. And it doesn't mean that those things are really bad. It's just something that I have noticed, that experiences or the things that I've tried to manifest or produce in the fall and the winter just seem to have a limited time span. And sometimes it hurts, because some of these opportunities are really good and then they just end. You know what I mean? And it doesn't feel good. But on the other hand, I noticed something really cool, that in the spring and in the summer, the projects that I start, the relationships that I start, have so much more enthusiasm. They bear so much more fruit. And there's so much love in them that's kind of different from the type of energy that I put in the fall and in the winter. And they last. The friendships that I have made in the springtime and in the summer have lasted. They have some kind of longevity. They have been deep friendships. They have been expansive friendships. It's just something that I've personally observed. Have you noticed things like this in your life? Just let me know, man, because it's really, really cool to have these kinds of observations, because they can really help you plan your life. You know what I mean? We are always supported. There's always tools out there for us to use to help us be in the rhythm of nature, that helps us be in abundance, that help us prosper, that help us thrive. So when we know what those things are, then we can really, really do what we need to do in order for us to fly. You know what I mean? Anywho, because of these observations, I'm like, you know what? I need to get with Mother Nature's program, you know? So nature has its seasons, which can be experienced differently depending on which hemisphere you're on. So whether you're in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere, nature has its set seasons of spring, summer, fall, or winter. But no matter what hemisphere you're on, the springtime and the summertime always represent life energy, the beginning energy, and the fall and the winter time always represent the death energy or the ending of the cycle energy. Springtime is about new life, new cycles of activity, launching new projects, planting new seeds. Seeds germinate and grow in the spring. The energy is upbeat, it's lighthearted, it's joyful, fresh, alive. And summer is about growth of life. There is more light. Things are flourishing. Things are ripening. People are feeling more renewed. And there's just this upbeat, vibrant energy all around. There's a lot of outdoorsy activities, and people are generally feeling good in the summer. And then when the fall season comes, things start to wind down, things start to slow down, things start to decay. The green leaves begin to turn brown, the colors change, things start to fall, the trees begin to shed and become bare. And symbolically, you can look at this as now the energies or our consciousness are now moving away from the extroverted, outwardly activities into a more introspective, inward-facing activity. Anyway, wintertime is about resting. It's about hibernation. It's about contracting. It's about laying low, preserving your heat, falling asleep, and dreaming about all the good things that you're going to plant in the springtime. You know, nature always gives us signs about how things are and what needs to be. And when we follow nature and what it's really revealing to us, we can really, really be in tune with the rhythm of the mother. Because it really doesn't make sense to start doing things that produce growth in the fall when it's time for things to start shedding their leaves and to rest, right? So when you really think about it, what is it that you're doing that is really out of rhythm with the seasons of nature? Are you starting to do something that really needs to be resting at this point? Are you planting a seed in the fall when you should have planted it in the spring? Think about it. And you know, the way sometimes I think about this whole thing of wrong timing is that feeling or experience that you have when you're looking for a job and then you're applying everywhere and your application is falling into a dark hole. Or when you're lucky, someone finally responds to you and they set you up for an interview and you really prepare yourself to go for that interview. And when you get to that interview, they make you feel like you got the job. But then they really don't confirm it. They tell you to wait for 2 weeks for an official letter or whatnot. And then 2 weeks go by, you don't find the letter, you don't see the letter, you decide to follow up. And then they tell you that you didn't get the job or that someone else got the job or whatever, some annoying thing like that. And then you're like, oh my God, what happened after all the work that you did, after all the energy that you expended, after all those hills that you climbed to try to get that job? You know how it is sometimes when you really are desperate to get a job and you put in so much energy, you put everything good about you forward just to impress so that you can get the job. And then you don't get that job. There's that feeling that you get that is like falling from a tower. But then again, you know that you have to wake up and keep moving because you still need that job. So maybe this is not the best analogy, but it's the kind of resistance that you can get when you're not in the right rhythm with nature or in the right season or in the right timing of when things need to be planted and when things need to be harvested. But this situation I'm talking about, being in the rhythm of nature, doesn't happen all the time, because sometimes there are certain circumstances in your life that allow you to move into a situation or a process without necessarily being in the rhythm of nature. And a lot of us survive that way because we live in two worlds. But for this specific video, I'm just talking about this based on the natural cycles and the rhythms of nature, which are really beneficial in so many ways, especially for us now that the energy is changing and a lot of things are changing. So we have to be in tune with nature. We can be in tune with the astrological energy, but also Mother Nature's energy, the energy of the earth, is also here to guide us. And we have to have that balance in our lives. And we have to be aware and to notice when the energies have shifted and when we need to be in rhythm. Observe life, notice the experiences in your life. So falling in line with the rhythms of nature is really what I'm doing at this particular time, at least to the degree or to the extent that I can, because I'm finding that it's so much easier and things are not such an uphill struggle, and the seeds that I'm planting are bearing good fruit. Anyway, crystal lovers, how are you working with the seasons of nature? What are your experiences? Are you in tune or are you not in tune? Let me know in the comment section. And until next time, I love you guys.